Right. Hey folks, my name is Trevor. I'm a software developer who moonlights as an indie dev. I'm here to show off one of the games that or I guess the only game that I worked on during the Global Game Jam this year with my partner Ciprian, who unfortunately couldn't make it today. If you were in the digital meetup we had last weekend, you've seen this already. I'm sorry for the repeat, but I think a lot of you weren't there, so I hope you'll enjoy it. So I'll just jump right into the game, and then I can talk shop a little bit, and then take questions. So this game is for those of you who are not, actually, I'm gonna not do that. Turn that down. So the theme, for those of you who are not involved in the Global Game Jam, was Mask. So make a game inspired by Mask. So we took the exceptionally creative and very original, and nobody else had this idea, to make a Masquerade Ball game. So this game is kind of like a rhythm game. So originally it was intended to be more hardcore, but then we were like, oh, people are going to play this game for like 5 minutes and then move on. So we wanted to keep it a bit simpler. But yeah, we'll get right into it. I'll play a little bit, I'll narrate a little bit of it. It's going to be hard for me to talk and play at the same time, so I apologize. So as I said, it's a rhythm game, so everything kind of operates on a metronome that runs in the background, and you can see all of the characters kind of jump on the beat and land on the beat. And your objective in this game is to be kind of like a matchmaker. You want to deliver the sun mask to Romeo and the moon mask to Juliet. And in order to deliver that mask, you have to trade masks with the other people participating in the Masquerade Ball. So you start as a Joker, and you want to deliver these to Juliet over here and Romeo over here. And then you'll get like a nice little cutscene together. So to do that, we have to trade masks. But how do we trade masks? Well, if we go up to some people, they don't like us. They start crying if we try to dance with them. Some people are willing to dance with us. So this is based on which mask you're wearing at a particular given moment. So the sad mask here, I want to dance with this person. So you change your different poses by hitting the different face buttons. And what you want to do is you want to match their pose by the end of the beat. So they'll jump and like telegraph their pose, and then by the time they land, if you match them, it'll go green underneath their like thing. When you walk up to them, you'll see this little like circle that grows. So at the end of the beat, it'll stop. And if it's red, it means you didn't match, and if it's green, you did match. When you match on the third time, they trade. And then there's a bug, because it was made in 2 days. And now they don't want to trade.
No.
You can't go backwards once you go forwards. That was more of a usability thing than anything, because we didn't want people getting lost going back and forth in the chain. But now I have this donkey, and I want to go meet this little kitty cat who wants to dance. So when we match with them, we trade, and then the cat likes the owl, and then we trade, and then again other people spin because it's bugged. And then we have the moon, and now we can deliver the moon to Juliet over here. It's not really her name, it's just kind of a shorthand for the thing, but once you do, there's a little cutscene where they go up the stairs and then head out to the balcony, and then you want to continue and follow the other path to deliver the sun to Romeo. And so we'll go down the happy path here, so these are all kind of like light aspected masks that we tried to have as many of them as possible have like an obvious relationship, but there are some leaps, like the donkey to the cat is kind of a leap. The original idea for the cat was that it would be more of like a Cheshire cat with like a big grin, and then the tie is like kind of a cheat where it's like, okay, the donkey goes to the Cheshire cat through like Shrek, because like they're both from Shrek. Because they're like fairy tale things. That's the biggest stretch in all of the relationships, I think. So we're a flower, so we want to go to something a little more sensical, which is maybe the hummingbird, who likes flowers. And then what's a good match for a hummingbird? Well, there's some royal aspect in some sense to birds and royalty. So that's maybe a little bit, also a bit of a stretch, but I don't think it's as much as donkey to cat. And then from king to son, and then we'll deliver this to Romeo. And then you can just go up the stairs. You can technically still play while this is happening. I didn't lock the controls at all, so you just do that. But once you've delivered them both, they meet each other on the balcony, and there's like a nice solar eclipse. It's just very metaphorical and very deep and very poetic. And then that's the end of the game. Yeah. So that's yeah, and the music I made in like 10 minutes in a hurried rush before I got back to Dalhousie, because all of my like music stuff is at home. I did not want to put that on this laptop, so I'm sorry if this gets very annoying. And in fact, I've heard this so many times, you might not find it annoying. I find it absolutely unlistenable. So I'm going to turn that off for a moment and open it up for questions. Yeah.
You planning on expanding it, or is it kind of like a one and done sort of idea?
This is very much a one and done kind of thing. Yeah. No, I have too many other major projects working to work on. So, yeah.
So how much of this was pre-prepared before the jam?
Not much of it. So were you here last? You were here last month, right?
Mm-hmm.
You saw my little 3D Godot like platformer kind of thing. So this shares a little bit of the code from that because I was doing that to prepare for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came to like, it's not anything deep. It's like, okay, how do you control a character, and how do you like handle inputs and cameras and stuff? Because I was out of practice on that. But other than that, all the like art, and music, and design and stuff was over the weekend. So yeah. Sure.
What would you say was the biggest challenge of putting this together for the jam?
Biggest challenge. It's a good question. I feel like this went smoother than some of my other experiences at jams, but I think it's because I've developed more experience doing jams at this point. So I kind of have developed a sense of like what decisions are bad, to things to avoid, because again, someone's only going to play this game for like 5 minutes and then they're done. So knowing that I don't have to like make like a deep system that's very extensible is kind of freeing in a way, because it means like, okay, we can just cut most of the awesome ideas that we don't have time for and just like accept that and move on. Yeah, for me, I was doing this in the C# version of Godot, which I hadn't really used until that like practice thing that I brought along last time. So I actually prefer it to GTScript. The only reason I would use GTScript is because C# doesn't support web export.
I just learned it yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, were you making something in C#?
Oh, I was going to, and then I read that.
Yeah. It was that, and then also if I wanted to do jams with other programmers, then I didn't want to like force them to use what I'm comfortable with. So I also learned GTScript for that, but I'm much more comfortable in C#.
Did you make the masks first and then try to form associations, or is that how you planned?
Yeah, so Chippy and I worked together on like coming up with the masks. What we ended up doing was we just like wrote a bunch of words on sticky notes and then laid them all out, and then tried to find associations between the things that we found like masks for. And then we wanted to have a much more complicated web of like associations between things, and the idea that like you might travel backwards in the chain and come back. And then again, we realized like, no one's going to do that. So we wanted people to experience the entire game in one sitting, and so we ended up cutting most of that. So it only turned into like 2 chains. It was a lot of like, what are pretty things that make a good iconic masks and have like unique silhouettes and things, like unique shapes, so that even if you can't see the detail in it, you can still kind of like glean from the silhouette, like what it looks like.
I think that's fine.
All right. Thank you.